When I moved to Oakland in 2007, I started writing from bed. I wrote in old sleep pants, lying on a heating pad, during the hours I spent in my big, sick, and disabled femme of color bed cave. I wasn't alone in this. I did so alongside many other sick and disabled writers making culture. Writing from bed is a time-honored disabled way of being an activist and a cultural worker. It's one the mainstream doesn't often acknowledge, but whose lineage stretches from Frida Kahlo painting in bed to Grace Lee Boggs writing in her wheelchair at age 98. I had very good timing. I moved to Oakland just as disability justice was birthing itself as a movement. Disability justice is a term coined by the Black, Brown, queer, and trans members of the original Disability Justice Collective, founded in 2005 by Patty Byrne, Mia Mingus, Stacey Milburn, Leroy Moore, Eli Clare, and Sebastian Margaret. Disabled queer and trans, Black, Asian, and white activists and artists, they dreamed up a movement-building framework that would center the lives, needs, and organizing strategies of disabled queer and trans and/or Black and brown people marginalized from mainstream disability rights organizing's white-dominated single-issue focus. Sins Invalid, the Disability Justice Performance Collective co-created by Patty Byrne and Leroy Moore, was based in Oakland and was shaking things up with its large-scale, beautifully produced performances about Black and brown queer disabled sex, bodies, and struggles. Its use of culture as a weapon to reshape people's dreams, nightmares, and future visions of disabled Black and brown queer liberation. The writing of disabled queer Black and brown writers and activists like Mia Mingus, Stacey Milburn, Aurora Levins-Morales, and Billy Rain was shaking things up online and in print, their pieces being passed from hand to hand in communities I was a part of. I was reading them over and over again, silently in my room, my brain breaking open. I had never seen disabled queer and trans, Black, Indigenous, and people of color, cutie BIPOC, writers talking about the nitty-gritty facts of our lives out loud before, without apology. It felt like queer, crip of color writers were creating space for sick and disabled queer and trans people of color to name ourselves as disabled, our kind of disabled, for the first time, and talk about the shit we'd only whispered before. We were finding ourselves and each other and making sick and disabled cutie BIPOC space that held our desires and our stories. It felt like some non-disabled queers and activists were paying attention, being forced to deal with ableism and with us, whether or not they were thrilled about it.